about Raila Odinga's African Union Commission bid. The man who's dominated Kenyan politics for decades is now vying for a seat on the continent's highest table.
Unveiling a former Prime Minister Raila Odinga as Kenya's candidate for the chairmanship of the African Union Commission.
I am ready for Africa.
Raila's seasoned political career gives him an edge. He's been Prime Minister, held leadership positions in regional organizations, and is a household name across Africa.
The major issues we've had in the country, remember the 2007, 2008 post-election, skirmishes where the former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, came in to help with mediation between Raila Odinga and the former President Mwai Kibaki. May his soul rest in peace. So he's a known figure. He has played a big role in our national politics.
But the AUC chair race isn't a walk in the park. He's up against some formidable names like Djibouti's Minister of Foreign Affairs Mahmoud Yusuf, Anil Gayan from Mauritius, and Madagascar's Richard Randriamandrato. Raila's challenge isn't just his competitors, but also his complex political history. His long-running opposition role in Kenya could be a stumbling block for leaders who view him as polarizing.
The nature of African politics is such that opposition figures are admired continent-wide. So it's very possible that most leaders find Raila an appealing candidate as someone who has been a long-standing figure in opposition politics in Kenya, which obviously means he's a champion of democracy, which is of course well documented.
Now, winning the AUC chairmanship isn't a simple popularity contest. To get the job, Raila needs support from 2/3 of Africa's 55 member states. That's 37 countries which he must convince, many of which have varied political, economic, or linguistic alliances.
When it comes to religious culture, we have Christian culture, we have Christian countries, and then of course we have Islamic or Muslim countries. And unfortunately for Christian countries tend to be dependent, they tend to pursue their own goals in their own way. But Muslim countries, or countries which have the Islamic culture, they're most of the time banded together. They actually tend to do the things in a more united manner.
Endorsements from powerful leaders matter a lot. Raila's key strength here is diplomacy, but securing votes from regions like West and North Africa could prove tough.
There's suspicion that Muslim countries will vote for the candidate of Djibouti, who is Muslim, and if that happens, it will affect Raila's performance. So his job right now is to make sure that this vote does not take that direction, because the outgoing chairperson from Chad is a Muslim, and if we have to be fair, it's only fair that now the next the next chairperson becomes someone else who's non-Muslim.
Think of it like a school election, only that instead of getting your classmates to like you, you're lobbying entire countries.
The perception of our president is not the best, because the manner in which he has been received, especially in the West, has positioned him as someone who's being used by the West, for example, to spread Western propaganda in Africa. You realize most of the countries in North Africa and West Africa are leaning towards China and in some cases Russia.
So who decides who wins? Heads of state from AU member countries are the ultimate deciders. They meet, debate, and vote during the AU Assembly. It's more about high-stakes diplomatic chess than it is about fiery speeches. Every country gets one vote, and behind-the-scenes lobbying is crucial. Simply put, it's all about who has the most friends in the right places.
I claim in the influence of the United States in some parts of the continent as well, and the strengthening position of China in Africa will play a big role in what happens during the elections. So I expect, of course, all these powers to try to assert themselves and influence the voting.
Now, why does this matter to Kenya? Well, if Raila wins, Kenya's regional and global standing could skyrocket.
Our interest as a country, as Kenyans of course, is to make sure that Raila gets to harvest whatever influence that can come in from outside to his favor. Because if the Americans come in and feel like, okay, if Raila becomes the EU Commission chair, is not going to be useful to them, they'll work so hard to make sure he does not become what? The EU Commission chair. And this can come in terms of promises of aid and threats of withdrawal of existing aid.
The AUC chair leads the organization, advocates for peace and security, and coordinates activities across member states.
Raila served as the head of infrastructure within the AU, so he understands the central position of economics within the AU. So he comes in with experience, of course, within the same organization which is seeking to lead. So it will be very easy for him to focus on the economic integration that is a central tenet.
The African Union, however, has faced criticism for being toothless. More talk than action, especially in areas of peacekeeping and conflict resolution.
Will the African Union be able to address these issues and has the grouping lost its grip on the continent?
However, with the continent facing challenges like the Sahel conflicts, economic inequality, and the impact of climate change, the AU still plays a crucial role.
The AU Commission chairperson has a far-reaching impact because he oversees the day-to-day running of the AU. He gets to make sure that whatever policies are put in place are implemented.
Will he win? That's up to 55 African nations and some serious behind-the-scenes diplomacy.